Um, Obviously, the prettiest, ugliest win we've ever had, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we can get cleaned up, but what we did today, again, we found a way to win. Hats off to Georgia State. They had every reason to come in here and just kind of just show up, where their season is, but they played their tails off. Coach Elliott had those guys rolling. They made some big plays. That kept the game kind of back and forth. But our guys, found a way. And I told them at the beginning of the game, we started talking about the end of this season for the seniors a month ago because I wanted those guys to emotionally get to the point to where they could show up today and still play. I don't think we did a good job of that to start. I think we were a little emotionally confused. It was like, man, this is over for me. Wait a minute, the ball just snapped. And I told them at halftime, I said, the reason we started talking about it a month ago so we could put the emotions aside and show up today and execute. Second half we did a little bit better. Offensively they started making some plays. Again, Cam is managing the game at a very elite level right now. Really proud of his progress. It's good to see the 22 back out there. There's some plays that he makes that just we haven't had all year. LeBourne with a big play, right at the end of the first half. Just found a way, right there at the end of the third quarter, I think it was. Defense came up with 3 big plays in a row. That's what happens when you battle. There's a lot of teams in the country love to win 8 games. I don't know if you guys understand how hard that is. But when you do that and then to win 4 in a row, you got to battle. You got to battle. You got to make some plays. You got to take some lumps. You got to learn. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff that we can clean up that would have made it look easier or feel easier. But they got scholarship players too, and they played their hearts out. And happy for these seniors. I told them at the beginning of the week, you're going to be able to tell this story 20 years from now. And the story is going to end with an and or a but. Either we played, tough in the Joan my last game. It was great crowd, great weather, and we won the game. Or we played tough in the Joan. It was a great crowd. It was great weather, but we lost. And I told them our preparation throughout the week, our execution on today, would determine if it was and or but. And I challenged them at halftime. I said, you got an opportunity to create an and or a but. And either we're going to do it together or we're not. And you're going to remember this for the rest of your life. You may not remember what play we called on the 38th play, but you will remember this day and you'll remember this outcome for the rest of your life. And I'm glad that they were able to pull it out. Really happy for the coaches. I thought we started off sluggish in the beginning and challenged the coaches to give these guys a chance. And the whole organization rallied. Really happy for the fans that showed up for these guys today. That was a huge crowd for our seniors to send them off the right way. These guys mean a lot to this university, this community. It was great to send them off the right way. So with that, I'm as excited as I can be. We won the game. Won the game.
That fourth down play, obviously, you would have never thought about kicking it, right? You were going to go and try to get it in the end zone.
No, obviously, we didn't kick the ball very well. Reese has been battling some soreness. No excuse, but that's kind of what had happened. And after he, missed the first 2, we made the switch with Meisler, and Meisler stepped up. We talked about guys having to step up. And right there at the end, I told the seniors, I said, I called Devin Miller over. He was one of our game captains, and I said, we're either going to win or lose the game based on what you guys do right here. And we had about 17,000 suggestions on what play we should run. Relax. We'll call the plays. You guys block them. But they said we're going to get it. And Devin looked at O-line in the eyes. He looked LeBourne in the eyes. And he said we're going to go get it. And they did. And they did. They executed when they needed to.
When you look at the 3 straight completions, the go-ahead touchdown to Montgomery, 3 sacks, that, kind of sparked you guys the rest of it.
Yeah, it was one of those games that just felt like we just needed something good to happen for the Herd. We were kind of just there, and we were playing. We weren't playing great. We were, missing some things. It wasn't horrible. Georgia State made some plays, but we needed something good to happen. And I think that touchdown, was kind of the spark. And then we came back, and defense came back with 3 plays in a row. And I think that's what kind of, gave us the spark we needed to finish. Obviously, Georgia State still continued to, they made some plays down there to make it tough. But I thought we just needed something positive to happen. I thought it was a little bit of an emotional fatigue going on a little bit just because of the day. You got to remember, these 20 seniors, half of them have been here 6 years. Half of them been here 6 months. Half of them signed on for a different head coach, got a head coach switch in the middle. Half of them went through COVID and had to deal with that and that season and that adjustment. Half of them have switched conferences. You know what I mean? So they've been through a lot. So when you really put it all together and you're talking about, 18 to 22-year-olds who emotionally don't know how to necessarily handle, what they feel all the time. And I think, today was kind of an emotional day. Obviously, we started at 12 o'clock, a little bit different routine for us. And we kept talking to them about it. Hey, we got to be able to, handle the adjustments. And I think when we needed to, we were able to do that, if that makes sense.
The third down conversion to Devin Miller, you mentioned him. Was that the same play that you guys ran early in the drive at Notre Dame that you guys ended up going?
No, that wasn't the same play. That was we got some base. When we started looking at what we needed to do on third down, if you look back over the last couple of weeks, we've gotten better on third and longs and third and mediums. We've been able to get them. And when we looked at what we needed to do, we went back to some of our base plays. And that was a base play. And what happened was they stripped the coverage off of Devin to take away the deep shot. And Cam went through his reads, dumped it down to Devin. Devin converted. And what we looked at was just running base plays that we got a bunch of reps in. You know what I mean? So that way, if they don't play the specific coverage we thought they were going to play, the quarterback can get through the read, the wideouts, the adjustments. And I think you saw that with Cam. He was looking, came right down to Devin almost like it was, planned. You know what I mean? But we've run that play 1,000 times. I think if you really look on the touchdown pass, unbelievable protection up front. I mean, he held it. We knew it was a play that we needed to get down the field a little bit. They protected really well. I mean, and Cam had really good poise. He didn't get antsy. Held it, waited, stepped up, hitch, ball, big play. And I think you're starting to see a little bit of continuity with the offense now. I think, having 22 back is a little bit of the glue that helps. I think Cam's maturity helps. I think our O-line is improving. I think our wideouts are stepping up. We got some guys that are having to make some plays in some big spots. So I feel that we're making progress. We're making progress, and that's the key. Defensively, we got to get some of these guys back a little bit. We're playing some younger guys, but they're battling, and we got to keep grinding.
When Rasheem did get that touchdown, what were the emotions like? Obviously, a lot of added excitement because it feels like it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, he was probably a little more excited. I told him you got to work on your touchdown swag. You kind of look awkward. You're like your body's flying all over. But it's been a long ride for him too. I mean, you're talking about a young man who came in with a lot of hopes and aspirations for this year, just from not necessarily stats and records, but just from anticipation. He hadn't played. First year was the last year playing. And then you have that kind of success, you're excited to come back and you're excited to play the game. And then, God deals you, adversity. And he battled it and he handled it and he worked his tail off. His family did a really good job. Our support system here surrounded him. And for him to get back out there was a little bit, kind of validation to all the hard work that he's been through. And for him, that was a big play.
Was that the highest screen pass you've ever seen? They were coming at Cam.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, there's some things that Cam has done the last couple of weeks that you're just kind of like, man, you've really grown, you know what I mean? And that was one of them. I mean, just to shape the ball over the guy there, that we knew it was going to be pressure. If you saw me kind of look to the sideline a little bit and made a heck of a throw, and Ali made a great catch. Made us look like great coaches. Finally we know what we're talking about, right? You guys blame me all the time when stuff doesn't go right. But, again, I think just Cam's maturation. Everybody, I got somebody asked me, why didn't you play in the beginning of the year? Well, we did. We put him into Notre Dame. He had 3 plays, 3 minuses. And then Henry did a great job of walking us down the field. So, again, it takes time at that position. It takes time. Sometimes standing on the sideline and listening and watching helps you grow a little bit. Sometimes getting in late in games, helps you grow a little bit. So it's all, if I had a magic wand of when quarterbacks were going to mature and when the light was going to click, and I don't think the lights clicked for Cam. I think what he's done is he's gotten better. And I think, us as coaches have really put, a system together to really help him stay calm and, play to his strengths. And he's getting better. I think he's still got a lot of growing to do. He'll even tell you that he feels like he can do more. But right now we're making strides.
Do you guys have anything fun planned tonight for the seniors or anything, especially after that?
No, they really don't like us. So as soon as we can let them go, they want to go hang out and get away from us. We'll meet tomorrow and talk about the second season, because this is not just the beauty of going to a bowl game is not just, some destination and get another game. That's part of it. But the beauty of it is you get 15 extra practices for your development, and that's huge. You look at the teams that consistently go to bowl games, they consistently have, good development. Teams that don't, you got to turn your equipment in. So for us, this second season is going to be huge for our development. We got a lot of young guys that are really, it's another spring ball if you look at it that way. So you're talking about the Tariq Montgomerys, the Jalen Slappies, the young O linemen that need that development. Use check, Fairley. There's some guys who need the development. There's some young DBs that need the development. It's going to help our program. And when you're trying to build it the right way, you need these 15 extra practices. It's not so much that Owen Porter goes out and runs 70, 80 plays again, but it's about the development. It's about some young guys getting extra reps, getting some broken down teaching, because, when you're game planning, you're kind of teaching to a specific, team. Well, until they tell us who we play, we can go back to the basics and really dial into the fundamentals of help you improve, which will help us moving forward. So we talked to them about that. I'm getting ready for the second season. We made it in November to remember, and that was something we talked about at the beginning of this month. And I'm not sure the last time, that Marshall has won 4 in a row at the end of the year, but we're the first Sun Belt Marshall team, and we won 4. So we set the standard really high, and I told them that. That was part of it. So really proud of them.
Do you use this time also to recruit some of your own guys, come back? Like, I'll be honest, I didn't know who's a senior, who's a junior. Like, I thought Porter was a redshirt junior.
Yeah, and some of it, and this is how I do it, just so you guys will understand it. I tell these guys, if you don't know if you're coming back, or you still got some decisions to make, then go ahead and walk. So if you look last year, Gilmore walked, but he came back, so he didn't walk this year. So I tell them, if you don't know, if you're in flux, you want to get with your parents, make some decisions, just go ahead and walk. Because regardless, if you come back and you just don't walk next year, but you still have that experience. So we had the guys who exhausted eligibility, and then we had 3 or 4 guys, Corey Gammage, Eli Neal, Porter. We had some guys who don't know yet, and don't know what the future may hold. But we told them, go ahead and walk. So you got the experience. You got the, hey, I played my final game in the Joan, if it is my final game. If not, you come back and, you just don't walk next year. But because of where we are in college football, I think you got to have that kind of mindset. I don't pin guys down to, hey, you walk, does that mean you're going? I don't think that's fair. I think we'll give these guys some time off to kind of think about it and talk to their families and make some individual decisions. And then obviously from there we'll be able to recruit to manage where we're at or what's left. Good? All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Heck of a year. Seems like our time just started, and you guys were barking at me about not being able to move the ball on offense, but we've turned around. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I know what you guys do for our players means a lot to them. I know it's difficult at times, but I appreciate what you guys do. It's been one heck of a year. So get with your companies and let's go on down and have a good bowl game, and tell them that Coach Huff is going to sponsor at least your bottled water on the way. So good. Go Herd.
Hey, thank you guys, appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike.